Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the second episode of this first season, I guess you can say, of Getting to Know Me K-pop in this podcast series. The first episode I did was more so like my reversion story, how I got introduced to Islam and where I am 3 years later. And I was kind of thinking like the second episode, what should I kind of do? Because I said I was going to do a part two. I just feel like the second thing, don't mind me, I have my little book here. So I'm gonna be looking down for some things. I was thinking that it should kind of be the adjustments that I had to make becoming Muslim and just those type of life changes, right? So, like I stated last time, I'm a Caribbean girly pop, was Christian. So when I was Christian, I had male friends, right? We, as in like my family, cousins, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, will all embrace each other because that's the culture over there. Like very warm, welcoming, Caribbean culture. Well, needless to say, becoming Muslim was definitely an adjustment, and honestly, I'm still struggling a little bit with some of these adjustments because you're trying to undo what 23 to 20, like when did I become Muslim? 20 years because I became a Muslim at 20. So you're trying to undo 20 years of life in not the shortest amount of time, but you do want to take strides every day to become that better Muslim. And something that also what's the word? Attracted me to Islam was the difference really between Islam and Christianity, in my opinion, again, not claiming to be Omar Soliman or Mufti Mink, but the fact that Islam cuts temptations and any negative path off at the root. And what I mean by that, right? So Islam, it is no drinking, no premarital fornications or of the sort. Um, and those are really kind of like vague topics that you can go into subcategories. But on the other side, in Christianity, you can drink, you just don't get drunk. There is still no premarital nothings, but people courting each other, kind of like courting. They can go out in public together. They can give kisses on the cheeks, tiny things like stuff like that, but nothing intimate. That should be done in a marriage. So Islam cuts things off at the root so it doesn't progress to haram, essentially. And so I'm gonna be using the terms haram and halal. Haram is sin, negative, bad, no bueno. Allah does not like. Halal is what Allah deems to be good. So like it's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So adjustments or transitioning into living the Muslim girly pop life versus just claiming to be a Muslim. I would say my biggest adjustment, and I'm still again working on it, is touching of the opposite gender. And before that sounds very out of pocket and very crazy. What I mean by that is something as simple as a dap up or even a handshaking in a business setting. Because I have male friends, male counterparts that I have befriended in track, in school, just in passing. And when you go see somebody, the natural instinct is to handshake, hug, a dap up of some sort, depending on your relationship with them. But trying to be the best Muslim girly pop, especially as a hijabi. When I was a non-hijabi, I guess you can say I was undercover because you couldn't really tell I was Muslim. But then when I became a hijabi, it was like, oh, that's a muzzy right there. Let me give you an example. So I went to Bermuda a couple months ago, and I wasn't in the era where I was very focused on not touching the opposite gender outside of my family. So I would give up dap ups, give side hugs. Oh, somebody's introducing me to somebody, shake their hand, being polite. Until I low key got out Muslim. Like, let's keep it a bean. We were at the sports awards in Bermuda, and I'm actually getting to meet people face to face to help me with my paperwork, kind of do the behind the scenes stuff for track in my country. And there was a Muslim there, and I didn't know he was Muslim because in Bermuda, they're Bermudian, so they're not like Arabs. So they're kind of undercover Muslims too, especially the men. And I shook this one guy's hand. He was introducing himself. And then I went to go shake the other guy's hand. And he, when Muslim men don't shake a hand, kind of put their hand over their heart out of a respectful way. Hey, I don't shake hands. Like, he didn't have to say that. But as a Muslim to Muslim, I understood. And my heart literally broke into 55 million pieces. Okay? Not out of shame or embarrassment, but out of just like, bro, I got out Muslimed in the sense that I know that is not what I'm supposed to do in terms of touching men. And I felt like that was Allah's wake up call to me, be like, hey, listen, you can't be doing this no more. I know you were trying to be nice, you're trying to keep the peace, be polite to these people, but at the end of the day, the day is going to end and judgment day is going to come. Okay? And you're not going to have to speak on their behalf. We're going to speak on your behalf. I was like, bro, I vow to not touch another non mahram. A non mahram is somebody that is not of my immediate family. So basically, people I can't marry. Back in the day, they used to marry, cousins used to marry each other. So that's why I can't even touch my cousins because they're possible spouses, I guess you can say. Um, and so I got out Muslimed. And if anybody understands that feeling, it stings the core. And so from that time, I was like, I'm not touching non-mahram men. Khalas. Like, if they go for a dap up, if they go for a hug, hey guys, like, I'm sorry, but in my religion and personal values, I don't shake hands, I don't hug. Um, and subhanallah, I was determined. Even in the airport, I met somebody like, oh my gosh, are you Caitlin Bob? I was like, yes. They tried to shake my hand. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't shake hands. And they're like, hey, like that's totally fine. And so even hearing their responses does ease my little soul a little bit because I'm not, again, not trying to be mean, not trying to portray Islam in that, oh, women can't touch, women can't da da da. And again, I'm still learning, so may Allah forgive me, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, if I say something incorrectly. This is based off my research and my interpretation. So, Islam is the religion of obedience, right? You're obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Um, and in that obedience, the women are, mm, they are put, they, we women are put on pedestals. Pedestals in the sense that us women are protected. Like how you wouldn't put something you hold near and dear to you on the floor. You will put it, make sure it's away from dust, debris, and in a safe place. Because us women, we're cared, we're loved for, we are the woman. And with us being the woman, especially when it comes to like hijab, we are protecting ourselves from other people. So when Caitlin Cassandra Bob, ooh, I just gave y'all the government, put on my hijab to protect myself from this dunya, from the looks of men, as like a protective barrier from this dunya, like the world, and my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so with me protecting myself, we don't just go out shaking hands and touching people who are not of us, essentially. Um, and so I, kind of feel like a little bit of a flex, like I'm a hijabi girly pop. You can't touch me unless you're my man or my brother, which I don't have a biological brother. So my grandfathers and my dad. So that is a struggle. It got a little hard when I went to a reunion and I saw a bunch of people who haven't seen me in a minute. Oh my gosh, hi, Kay, hi. And again, I love the love, but it was just hard in the moment when everybody's like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever. I say all of this to say that if you are struggling with touching non-mahram men, again, not in a sexual or a weird way, but dap up side hugs or trying to break that habit, one, you're not on your own because I'm struggling with that too. Two, I definitely found like Allah made it easier once I continued to be better in my deen in terms of keeping Allah my tongue, so like dhikr, and even praying and asking for it in sujood and in my du'as, because that's the only way once you continue to immerse yourself in like, listen, Allah, like, this is a struggle of mine, please help me. And also the thought that haram and halal cannot coexist. So your heart is either filled with haram or it's either filled with halal. That is also why people say that a heart that is always listening to Quran is not going to be susceptible to music, and a heart that's always listening to music is going to be harder to be more susceptible to Quran. Okay. Okay, I can touch more about that later. I just don't want to drag this and just be talking about that specifically because there are other things. That was an adjustment to becoming Muslim. I would say the second part, when I became Muslim, obviously I had a bunch of Christian friends because I was Christian, and I truly believe that if I would have surrounded myself and kept myself in those environments where I had Muslim friends, and I love my Christian friends, like those are my A1 day ones, like they know that. just in terms of dean, because like they can't help in that area. Surrounding myself with the MSAs and going to your local masjid, trying to get into that revert classes, really understanding and surrounding yourself with people, because mashallah, like it really truly helps you in your dean. And I say that because recently at my new job, I've befriended two of these girly pops, and they're amazing. I love them. And when we're out, like they'll be like, "Oh shoot, yeah, we gotta pray also before we go to X, Y, or Z." And I'm like, "Oh, this is what it's like to have Muslim friends," because it's like it keeps you locked and dialed in, because it is easy to get distracted. I know this person is not gonna come and park right next to me. Okay, alhamdulillah. In this big parking lot. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Anyway. Oh, Juma Mubarak! Juma Mubarak, it's Friday. Back to what I was saying. So yes, immersing yourself and keeping yourself surrounded by Muslims would be a faster introduction to Islam. And looking back, if I could redo my journey again, I definitely would. Another journey is hijab. When I was learning about Islam and the family of the person I was in conversation with, I mentioned last time, mom and sister were hijabis. I've always wanted to become a hijabi. And I know reverts, sometimes when they actually revert, like take their shahada, that day they become hijabis or niqabis. However, my biggest reason for pushback was because I ran track. And if anybody runs track, you know the norm is seeing girls run in shorts and half tops, crop tops, whatever tops. The point being, there's a lot of skin shown. Okay, we're gonna try to do this with a car alarm in the background. So psych. Yeah, and so because I was so used to running in shorts and a sports bra or something of the sort, like even my Bermuda competition kit was literally a sports bra and some shorts. It was very uncomfortable for me to run in long tights. But I was like, listen, again, at the end of the day is gonna end. And Judgment Day, Allah's not gonna be like, so when it comes to hijab, because it is an obligation of the woman to be covered for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why did you not put on the hijab? Well, because I felt uncomfortable running in long tights. Wrong answer. That's not valid. And so, again, as I continue to learn about Islam as a whole, I really truly fear Judgment Day. Burning in hell and your skin growing back, boils, and the water is so hot that your stomach is going to burst, grow back to only feel that same feeling again, and so much more, mind you. There's a whole lot in the Quran. I just gave you like 0.005 of what is stated. I said, oh, absolutely not. So I continue to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, Ya Rabb, please make it easy on me wearing the hijab. And so what I did was I slowly started to practice it. Instead of shorts, I would wear my long tights. Then when I got comfortable with that, I would wear my long shirts. And then I even purchased like sports hijabs on like the Nike site, Lululemon. There's not many places to get them. I guess people are getting trendy and hip now. I purchased some of those, and then some days, I would practice doing so. And really just working my comfortability level up. And days that I would just go out and kind of just have on a normal outfit, I would put on a modest hijab outfit. And then I was like, you know what, girl? Like, you're never ever going to feel ready for whatever you're trying to do. Okay? Let's be so honest. So then, when I was at Virginia Tech, I was like, what's the hold up? So one day, I don't even know the date, somewhere in February or March. Yeah, February or March. I was like, khalas, like this is it. So I went through my closet, covered all my crop top, shorts, tight stuff, gave it to my friend, went to Marshall, spent like $100 on long shirts, long sweatpants, just long everything, loose and long. And the next day I was a hijabi, and then I had my prior sports hijabs. And this was actually the week leading up to ACCs. ACC is the Atlantic Coast Conference, um, and like the indoor championships. So all of the schools come together. I went up there as a hijabi. And I want you to know, at these schools, people don't see stuff like that, okay? But I was, subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Ya Rab, whose car is this? Seriously, like, guys, we gotta lock in. Alhamdulillah, thank goodness. Good Lord. Okay, so yeah, subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. I had the best introduction and the most warming welcoming journey into the hijab that I think I could have actually had. My coach was very understanding and accommodating. My athletic trainers respected the fact that if I did want a massage, I needed to ask. Like the boys couldn't be in there, and I would get mine stuffed separately. Even our media team, they deleted, and I was able to retake my media day pictures in my hijab and everything because I took my media day pictures when I wasn't hijabi. So subhanallah, I had an amazing introduction. I had a lot of support. My friends, they were very supportive. They looked at me crazy at first, but they were very supportive. And so my journey was easy, but also I prayed about it. And Allah knew it was in my heart from day one. It just took 2 years for me to do. And I would never go back, okay? I feel so much more beautifuler with my hijab on. Like sometimes I take off my hijab, I'm like, ooh, I have hair. Because I'm in a hijab all day. And I'm just like, I got some inches under here, okay? But I know the journey is different for people. Again, if you're really true about it, if you're really intent about it, Allah knows your heart. And may He make it easy for you because at the end of the day, the day's gonna end and judgment day gonna come. Jump a scare. Oh, also, so praying, right? So I speak English, that's my only language. In Bermuda, we don't speak another language, we just have broken English. It's just an accent. The Quran and Islam is in Arabic because, that is the OG language. And it was harder as a non-Arab speaker learning and understanding how everything goes, the letters, the numbers, the sounds, because like like these are not normal normal letters in the English alphabet. But something that definitely helped me was Duolingo, one, and two, again, surrounding yourself with those people in the MSA or your local masjid, because a lot of those people were Arab. And so they taught me. Again, like when I learned Surah Fatiha, over the moon, I was jumping. I would literally be reciting and not even knowing I'm reciting, but also working on my pronunciation and my tajweed. Tajweed. I think it's tajweed. Inshallah. Stuff a lot if I'm saying it wrong. Oh, big pause. I'm not sure if I was ignorant, not in a negative way, but ignorant to the fact that there were Qur'ans in English. They were on the ones on TikTok. And it was a year and some change before I realized that there were English Qur'ans. So that's a nice introduction because it has the English, the Quran, like the Arabic version, and then it has also this understanding of what it's saying in English, so you understand what it's saying. Also, something that helped me and still helps me to this day is the transliteration. So the transliteration is basically the Arabic words spelled out in English. So you could see how it's said, and really get a visual and connecting. So I know like big A is like the Ein sound, or like what is it? A comma is like the Ein sound. I'm still learning, guys. Please chill on a sister. Guys, I hope I'm just like not rambling and this is stuff of actual value to you. Ooh, a good one is fasting. Okay, fasting. I definitely, inshallah, this will also be a more detailed, different episode. But fasting, right? So Ramadan. Let's just talk about Ramadan. We're not even gonna talk about Sunnah fasting. Ramadan is once a year, and it is where the Muslims fast because that is when the time that the Quran was revealed through Angel Jibril to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was revealed over a course of 30 days. You saw that? See, because I'm learning. Um, and so people are like, oh, how do you do track while fasting? How do you compete? Listen, if you want to, you will. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. If you want to, you will. And for me, during track season, I know I'm not a big eater anyway. And I already take supplements. So I take supplements in the morning for sahur. I'll take supplements. I'll take energy chewers. I'll take what's that thing called? Electrolytes the day before. But really fuel my body to withstand the day of practice. And also like what? I was fasting in Florida for meat. That was crazy. It was crazy. But subhanallah, back to my team being amazing. They had ice packs for me. They had the vest ice packs from the coolers for me because girl, I run in all black sometimes because it depends on the uniform. And fasting, honestly, remembering that you're doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it even better. And I personally know a lot of Muslims who PR while they're fasting because like why would Allah leave you hanging when you're doing something for the sake of him? You hear the silence? You hear how loud it is? Because Allah will not leave you. Come on, get it together. Get it in your brain, cabeza. So fasting, honestly, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Take your supplements. Make sure you are eating proper suhoors, a nice iftar, getting electrolytes in, getting enough water in, and then you will be fine. But people refuse to believe it, and so I I don't know what to tell you until then. But that's how I personally do fasting. I would say from a social standpoint that a pretty big adjustment for me was, you see people on Instagram, on social media, in their hijabs and the girly pop. I'm just gonna speak of the girls right now, and their Islamic journey, and it looks a certain way, and it's like, oh, I want to be like that, but you don't know what that person's going through when they turn that video off. You don't know what they're experiencing or what they're sacrificing to get to where they are. And I say this to say that your journey is your own journey. You cannot compare yourself to be like, oh, dang, she's doing this. I need to do that. Yes, you can use somebody as a motivational factor, but the comparison aspect, I feel like us as women is like not a competition, but like our pride, our ego. I want to be like that. Like I already told myself, like, listen, I'm not that aesthetic girly pop going to Shotted. I actually tried Shotted the other day. Bust down. I have to give Shotted its props. But point being, like, I'm not that aesthetic girly pop. He's going to Shotted, traveling all over the globe in my cute little bathing like bikini, just living that cute aesthetic Instagram life. No, that's not Caitlin Bob. Caitlin Bob is a track athlete. If you ever see me in person, I'm normally in sweatpants. Okay, I am my own person, and I for a little bit was trying to fit that aesthetic because that's what I saw and that's what I associated hijabis, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to be. But that's not me. And even in terms of like, hijabis being very demure, being very quiet. Yes, having a sense of haya. Haya is having a sense of like demureness. Like, whew, good lord. I should have did some research stuff like this. Haya is like having, yes, being demure, keeping yourself, that privacy between you and the world, and protecting yourself from the rest of the crazy people. I hope I done said that right. Inshallah. Astaghfirullah, Europe, if I said that incorrectly. Inshallah, I said that right. Um, but yeah, really, like, that's not me. Like, if anybody knows me in person, I'm a little bit of a goofball. I'm kind of loud sometimes. I can kind of start to screech sometimes. Just the whole comparison. Comparison is definitely is the thief of joy. And I'm gonna make that a different episode because that is a whole can of worms that we can get into. Those are the kind of things that I could think of at the top of my head. If you guys have anything, please let me know. I can elaborate or even talk about my journey with something. And even praying. When I first started learning how to pray, I would pray with my phone because I didn't know what I was doing. And it took me some time. Like I had goals for myself. Like yes, we have our five fard prayers, like our mandatory prayers. Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Aisha. And I would be like, hey, okay, listen, let's get 2 to 3 out of these prayers today. Then the next day, let's make that a habit. Then let's get 3 to 4, 3 to 5 out of the prayers, and then keep working my way up. But you have to realize, like, you got to take your time because also you don't want to jump into everything and pray your 5 prayers and then fall off, and then jump in and fall off. You want to make things more of a habit, make it more consistent. Praying twice a day consistently for a week, 2 weeks is better than praying all your 5 prayers than not praying for a couple days because you're exhausted and tired from that, and then coming back and praying. So those are a couple of my struggles that I personally endured. But again, I be just yapping, and I fear I yapped a little too much today, guys. So I'm gonna end the second episode of the unknown, but known by Allah. And inshallah, I'll catch you guys on the flip side on the next episode. And if you have anything you want to specifically me talk about, let us know because right now is between my thoughts and ChatGPT. Okay, but thanks for staying tuned. Inshallah, you have an amazing weekend and you have an amazing Juma. Okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bye.